If you want something that's more reliable than a typical folding pocket knife, a pocket fixed blade might be what you're looking for. And thankfully, in 2024, we've got a lot of new options as this genre is growing very nicely right now. So let's take a look at a few options that you might be able to put in your pocket. Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here coming at you from the KnifeCenter, and as alluded to at the beginning there are a few reasons you might choose to pick something like a pocket fixed blade over a folding knife. One, the reliability issue. As mentioned, there's no moving parts on a pocket fixed blade, so there's fewer things to go wrong essentially, and it's also something that's easier to keep clean versus folding pocket knives. Now you may not get as much blade length as you can with the largest folders you can fit in your pocket, but that is of course the trade-off. But 2024 is a good time to revisit this topic. The last time we did a full feature video on pocket fixed blades, there were a few options, but they were limited, but we are seeing a lot more. I think it's a category that is definitely still growing as well, but it's a good time to take a look at the new stuff since our last video. And we're gonna start with the smaller knives and move our way up to some bigger ones and even some self-defense options here at the end. Now we're going to start with CIVIVI and the OSOP Hell designed Circulus. It's about 55 bucks. You've got a 2-inch blade of 10CR series stainless, which is going to give you pretty good performance, somewhere in the VG10 or AUS10 or arena, close to those sorts of things. You can get a black stonewash or a non-blackened finish. And this really is a minimal impact knife, and the sheath as well is minimal impact. What I mean by minimal impact is it's not going to be too bulky in your pocket. The sheath is made from Kydex, and it has a small pocket loop, or pocket clip I should say, right here already installed. And that is going to be the difference of the knives you're going to see on the table today. There are a number of small fixed blades out there that can be converted to pocket carry simply by adding a clip such as this. There are options out there, but we're going to stick today to things that have pocket enabled carry right out of the box. You don't have to buy something else for it to be a clipped into your pocket carry. The Circulus definitely fits the bill. It's just kind of a small pocket knife replacement and a good entry into the genre too at just 55 bucks. So if you're unsure if you're going to take to a pocket fixed blade, it's a good way to try it out. Now for something more premium, and again, we're going to jump around price points a bit. We're, like I said, starting small and going bigger as we go along. This is the Forager from Mechforce. It's a Ben Crine collaboration, 245 bucks for a 2 3/8 of an inch blade of Magna Cut steel. So very tough, very stain resistant, and good edge holding all in one. And this thing really embodies where the pocket fixed blade can really pay dividends if you choose it over a folder. You've got a not too thin full tang blade with a premium steel like that. So you've got durability in this small package. It's just a piece of steel with some handles bolted to the side. You don't have to worry about pivots coming loose, a pocket clip walking out, the pivot being weak if you really need to get down and bear down on a cutting task. Granted, this is a small knife. There's only so much bearing down you're going to be able to do with it, but I think you take my point. But this is a really cool little knife. Ultim handles. It's about a 3-finger grip for my slightly larger than average hands. Your mileage, of course, may vary a little bit. Magna Cut blade as mentioned, nice stone washed finish, and Kydex sheath with a clip right there ready to go. This is going to work well in the pocket or clipped to a belt or inside the waistband if that's your thing too, but definitely capable of pocket carry right out of the box. Next up, also on the premium side of things, the Boker Lucas Burnley designed Barlow BFF. And classic Barlows, this is kind of your fixed blade replacement to something like that. This is a considerably more premium option as well. They start at about $220. There is a skeletonized version that is coming in about 93, 94 bucks right now, but that does not have a pocket enabled sheath right out of the package. So again, we're focusing on those right here. You can get it with Damascus or AEBL blades on the higher end versions right here. This is the Damascus version, as you can see. You've got a just under, or just about 2 3/4 inch blade with a saber height flat grind. And technically, is that a drop point? Yeah, it looks like a clip point, but technically there's some downward arc to this tip, so not a clip point. Very neutral handle. It's a 3-finger grip for me. Very slim. This wood on this particular version is bog oak, which is a very cool thing as well. But just a very neutral, very versatile little blade. The sheath itself is leather with a pocket clip. And the nice thing about the design of this sheath is it's completely ambidextrous. Combined with a fairly symmetrical knife, it's going to be easy to use on the left or the right hand side with no altering the clip or switching anything around. Next up, starting to creep a little bit larger, I want to talk about MKM. They've got several pocket fixed blades in the lineup, one of which is one of my own designs. We're going to start with that, and that is the Pocket Tango. 3-inch MagnaCut blade, several handle versions available, starting at about 170 bucks. And this is about a 3.5 finger grip right here. We've got a nice angled handle to use the blade pretty effectively. And also when it sits in the sheath, the handle sticks back and out of the way, so it's easier to carry and easier to access your pocket. Here is the sheath that all of these MKMs use, and it's a very nicely executed, very classy leather piece here. You've got a magnetic flap here on the outside, so you slip the sheath into your pocket, and the flap will fold over the hem of your pocket and connect and hold things pretty securely. Then when you want to access the blade, simply grab the handle, give it a little push with your finger, and the sheath will stay put, especially once it's broken in. And you've got this very cool, well, I'm a little biased, this is my design, but a very cool Nessmuk style blade right here. Again, just a very effective small pocket knife replacement. This is not going to be a big beefy pocket fixed blade. We've got some options for those coming up. You can also check out the reverse tanto or lamb's foot style version here, as well as a KnifeCenter exclusive, a cleaver style blade, sheep's foot perhaps, with burlap micarta handles, all available with that excellent sheath and that MagnaCut steel. Next up from MKM, a Bob Trzola design. This is the TPF Defense, the Trzola Pocket Fixed Defense fixed blade. And despite the name Defense in the name, with the leather magnetic pocket sheath, would want something with even more positive clip retention onto your pants for it to be a true tactical option. But I think it's a great utilitarian option nonetheless. About the same price too. Starting at about $170 for a 3 1/4 inch blade of MagnaCut with micarta handles, and it's kind of bridging that gap where you can start to really get a positive grip with all 4 fingers on the knife. The Pocket Tango, like I said, is kind of a 3.5 finger, 4 in a pinch, but the TPF really nestles nicely for my hands with a standard 4-finger hammer grip right here, which is quite nice. Saber grip is also nice, and also different handle upgrade options are available. Leather sheath, as mentioned, and fairly neutral shape, kind of similar to the BFF we looked at earlier, with a little more embellishment for sure, but a good neutral drop point blade that can be adaptable to a lot of different situations. Last but not least from MKM today, we've got the Jesper Vaknes designed Makro series. There are 2 blade shapes, coming in just under 3 inches long with MagnaCut steel, and these actually are starting at about $150 right now. You're not going to get MagnaCut for that, but you are getting M390, which, while not as tough as MagnaCut, the edge actually should last a little bit longer. Of the 2 blade shapes, I actually like the sheep's foot one a little better because the tip is a little lower. With this small size of knife, I think you're able to use the tip a little more effectively than on the drop point version right here. Your mileage may vary, of course. Slightly thicker blade steel here with a crowned spine. The Pocket Tango has that as well. The TPF does not. It's worthy of note if you like that typical Italian feature. And a 3.5 to 4 finger grip on this as well, but a little bit more substantial than some, I would say. You could really put some muscle into this when you need to. This one right here with the red lava fat carbon is a KnifeCenter exclusive. You could check those out at the links below. You can check all of these knives out, in fact, down in those links below. Next up, we've got some more Bokers. This is the AK1 series, and actually has 2 blade shapes as well that are quite similar to the Makro we just looked at. Not identical, obviously, and you are dealing with thinner blade steel here, so they're going to be a little bit better slicers, but not quite as good of a heavy beater if that's what you're looking for your pocket fixed blade to do. Actually, there's also a Tanto bladed version of this available. Prices on these are made in Solingen, Germany, just like the BFF, so the prices are commensurate with that. The Tanto version actually starts at $129 and some change. And then the least expensive of the other blade shape versions is starting at $236, which it is a fairly big jump between the two. Again, I like this blade shape a little more than the clip point version for the reasons mentioned earlier. The handles on this one are a shredded carbon fiber. Blade steel, as you can see lasered right here on the tang, is RWL 34, so roughly analogous to your CPM 154. Excellent powder metallurgy steel right here. And you've got this bail on the back for a lanyard. You can actually take the scales off, reverse that, because it is an individual piece, so you can have a cleaner look if you want. As for the carry on this knife, you've got a leather sheath with an ulti clip. First ulti clip we've seen on the table today, and it's a really nice little mechanism. You have a flap here and a hook here that once you push the flap down, it clamps the sheath into place. So that's really not going anywhere. If you want a tactical pocket fixed blade, that's a really good system, I would say. And if you have a small neck knife or a sheath knife that has holes in the sheath itself that you could fit an ulti clip to, that's a good way to try out pocket fixed blading as well, because ulti clips are available separately. But check those out. The AK1s are very cool as well. Now we're going to start kind of cross over to the next kind of biggest size up, I would say. And here's where these are full or pocket knives that are pushing the max of how much fixed blade you actually can fit in your pocket, because there is a finite limit. Pockets only get so big. The Benchmade Dacian here offers a full 4-finger grip for me. It's a tight 4-finger grip, but it does have it. We've got micarta for the handles, Magna Cut blade steel. This version right here has a blue Cerakote finish, because why not? Goes well with the dark brown, I would say. I really like the denim and stonewashed version of this. It's also available. These start at $270. Nice full-length blade, 3.5 inches. That's as big as some standard full-size folders right there. So you've got the length, you've got a geometry that's going to still slice pretty well, thanks to not too thick of a blade stock and a high flat grind, and a very versatile shape with that acute tip and nice sweeping belly. The sheath on this knife is on my right. They actually do a really good job of keeping this nice and compact. By going with a molded sheath, they didn't have to worry about rivets on the side of a Kydex sheath, so it slims it up enough that it's really, really kind inside your pocket. Comes with a clip right here with a little J-style retention clip or a loop on the end, so it's not gonna slip out too easily. And this is an ambidextrous sheath as well. The knife will go in either way, no problem. So lefties or just left-hand carriers, you're gonna be well served with this knife right here. Next up, we've got the Jake Hoback Shepherd right here. A modified Wharncliffe blade shape here with G10 handles. These have got 20 CV blade steel, so again, not as tough or kind of bashable as Magna Cut, but longer lasting edge right here. And an American made steel as well, which is nice. $225 is how we have these priced at the moment we're filming this. And it's got, again, even though my pinky is hanging on the tail side of this, it feels like a full solid 4-finger grip, and it is poised in your hand as well. Thanks to the finger guard here and the thumb ramp, you're really able to feel that confidence when you're gonna use this and actually cut with it and use that tip quite nicely as well. It's not too far up and out of the way. Very good combination. Everything nice and tight feeling in a good way, I should say. That's not supposed to, don't take that any other direction. Kydex sheath here with rivets on the side and a clip right in the center right there. Now the disadvantage of that is you can't flip the clip around, but tech locks or ulti clips would be able to be fitted to this if you wanted to carry this in your left side pocket. But you can see now we're getting fairly large sheath in the pocket here. So this is going to be at the upper limits of what some folks are going to be willing to put up with, in which case check out one of the earlier knives here with slimmer sheath options, I would say. Next up, we've got another affordable option, the Kansept Korvid S series of fixed blades. These start, this one right here, at just under 50 bucks, and that comes with a 14C28N blade steel, stainless, nice and tough, and pretty decent edge retention. You can also get it with S35VN for more edge retention as well. G10 on this one, micarta is also available. Some fancier materials are also available on the S35 versions. Blade length here is just under 3 inches, but it's quite wide, quite broad, so you still feel like you've got a massive knife in your hands, and again, something with a full 4-finger grip as well. It's fairly thin despite those dimensions as well too, so it's not going to be like a thick wedge when you go to slice and push through some heavier cuts with it. You've got that cutting efficiency. And the sheath is Kydex folded over taco style, so you only have rivets on one side to keep this as minimal as they can, given the large dimensions of that blade. Standard pocket clip there, screwed into one side. That is switchable if you want to carry it on the left. Next up, CRKT has a few options in their Razel series of fixed blades, which were recently reintroduced. The one I want to talk about, my favorite one here, is the 4037 John Graham Razel. Comes in about 60 bucks. You've got D2 blade steel with that leading chisel-like edge, hollow grind here at the back and flat grind at the tip. Micarta handles with a full tang spine right there and a full feeling grip. 3.5, kind of like the Hoback, but enough girth there where you really feel like you've got a super solid grip. And the D2 is going to give you pretty good edge retention for that price point too. They've also got a $34 option with a 2-inch skeletonized blade, as well as the 4036 right here, the Razel compact fixed blade, about 2 3/8 of an inch long blade, D2 steel again with the leading edge and a hollow ground back section here. G10 for the handles, and a fob, which is something that can extend the grip on some smaller knives of this genre. You get that extra pinky retention there to keep it from slipping around. And the reason I included this in kind of the bigger knife category, even though this is a smaller knife, is both of these Razels come with a pretty big footprint on the sheath. In fact, compare the two right here. Even though the larger version feels like significantly more, they're both taking up a lot of width in the pocket, and the depth is not a small amount either, but they do feel super solid, but keep that in mind. Pocket clip for right side carry. If you want to left side carry it, you'll need something like an Ulti clip, as we talked about already. But all of these bigger ones could be, good for, bigger work as mentioned, but those Razels especially, I think, are great, like handyman, carpentry options even, for the woodworkers or DIYers out there. Just that chiseling ability is quite a nice thing. And lastly, not, concerned with size on this last segment, but use case specifically, and that is a self-defense style pocket fixed blade. If that's what you're looking for, there are some options out there. The easiest one to recommend is Benchmade's SOCP Dagger series. This is the mini with a 2.2-inch blade, $108, and you've got the full-sized version, which has been around for a while as well, about $117 with 3.22-inch blade. Both double-edged, so coming and going, you've got a nice cutting path, and the sheaths here are going to be pretty easy to integrate. It has these lashing holes for other mounting options, but it has a very nicely done pocket clip here with J-style retention on the end and reversibility as well, because completely ambidextrous, because these knives in fact are symmetrical right down the spine. Symmetrical, whatever I said. You know what I'm talking about. But the sheath is going to stay in place quite nicely. You don't have a whole lot sticking up out of the pocket, helping keep the profile low, but very easy to access thanks to that ring, as you can see right there. 440C steel on these, not going to set the world on fire for edge retention at this price point, but it is solid, made in the USA, and ready for action. Next up, the Bastinelli Dopamine, kind of a inverse karambit style for this thing, although, your blade is trailing point rather than a hawkbill. $200 for this. You've got a 2.5-inch M390 blade, really nicely sculpted G10 handles on these, and a crowned spine. So everything on this one is very comfortable, except for, of course, the sharp and pointy bits on the business end of it. But all the interfaces with your fingers and hands are quite nice. And the sheath on this guy is Kydex with an ulti-clip already pre-installed. Fairly long. The depth on this one, go ahead and measure it for you real quick, is, other side of my ruler, please, almost 5.5 inches. So know what you're getting into if this design interests you as a pocket carry option. But like the SOCP, in pocket, you've got something very easy to access thanks to that finger ring right there. And like the SOCP, you've still got, although a very aggressive blade, a still useful blade for daily cutting tasks, and the edge retention of M390 as well. All right, these next two are more affordable and kind of like just barely pocket fixed blades. You might know what I mean here in just a second. The first is the K-Bar TDI Ladyfinger. It's about $40. You've got an AUS 8 blade of just under 2 inches long with this leaf-shaped profile and injection molded handle with a very aggressive curve to it, as you can see. And that's because, like the full-size TDIs, this is designed for intuitive thrusting. Throw it in your hand, even if you possess little or no training, it is naturally going to present in a forward striking motion when you extend your arm. Also a nice little utility blade too. The sheath on this is actually two-sided. It'll go in either way. Comes with this molded clip right here. Kind of a wide, broad affair for a ostensibly pocket carryable knife right here, but it could be done, and if you don't like it, there are those holes there where you could do an ulti clip if you like. But it just barely qualifies as far as I'm concerned, and because there are so few true like self-defense pocket fixed blades out there, I wanted to showcase it because it's a pretty cool design. There you go. And last but not least, this one's been around for a while, even before pocket fixed blades started to become a trend, if you will, and that is the Cold Steel SafeMaker 2 push dagger. And this goes where the TDI gets up to the gate of what the push dagger is. The push dagger is all natural thrusting naturality. That makes sense in my head anyway. It comes with an injection molded sheath right here with the clip right there on the side. This clip is actually removable if you want. You could throw an ulti clip on it if you don't like it, but this will do the trick just barely for your pocket carry and allow you to get to that blade. AUS 8 steel, about $37 right here. So similar price to that TDI, but you get a little bit more edge, and it is sharpened on both sides as well. Interestingly, a concave grind on the back side to keep things efficient when it's going in and out of targeting, or in and out of your target, I do believe. The other one, we didn't have one to show today, but their drop forged push dagger from Cold Steel has a really nice sheath similar to this, but with an ulti clip mounted on the side right here. That is also a cool option, priced at about $64 or $65 right now. So what do you think? Is there anything on this table that is kind of challenging your folding pocket knife paradigm? Anything making you kind of consider branching out and trying something a little different? Let me know in the comments. Let me know your other favorite pocket fixed blades in the comments as well. If we haven't covered them, maybe we'll get a chance to in the future. And as mentioned earlier, if you want to get your hands on any of these knives, check out the links in the description. Those will take you to KnifeCenter.com, where we've recently added a Sezzle payment option where you can split up your payments if you like. And don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program so you can earn some free money on your future purchases. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center, and I'm signing off. We'll see you next time.